Hey guys, Chris Clothier here with Total Turnkey, coming to you with another episode where I am detailing a book. I'm on a mission this year to I guess you call this a book club. I'm going to review 26 books for the year. I think might be a little behind on my reviews. I think this is number 7? Oh no, number 3. Okay, so I'm possibly a little behind right now on reviewing them. I'm not 100% behind on reading them. I've read enough to keep up with it. I just can't get my crew behind the camera in here enough to be able to make these videos. So I'll work on snapping them together as they look at me. It's all me. I'm the holdup, but I promise you I'll deliver 26 this year. This week we're talking about how to invest in real estate. This is a beginner's guide to real estate written by Josh Dorkin and Brandon Turner. Again, I feel like I'm having to say this a few times at the beginning of these books. Josh Dorkin is somebody I would still today call a friend of mine. This is a guy that he and I used to talk quite a bit when he was building his company, Bigger Pockets, and we were in the middle of building our company, Memphis Invest. And but I also know Brandon Turner as well. These are two guys that I have a great deal of respect for. But the reality is I'd never read this book, primarily because of the name. How to invest in real estate. It's the ultimate beginner's guide. And this is just kind of more reflective of where I am in my journey. I'm obviously not a beginner. So I will tell you, when I decided to read this book, I was a little shocked and a little surprised when I went into it. I had forgotten, and I mean, this is the truth, I had forgotten that I was in the book. I've done multiple podcasts with Josh and with Brandon. I was one of the early writers for the Bigger Pockets newsletter. I was one of the early contributors to their, to all the projects that Josh had going on. I was just a massive supporter. I wanted to get in there and help him find success and be a part of what he was doing, because I always believed it was going to be massive. I always thought he was disrupting kind of the traditional way of communicating and talking and sharing about real estate networking. So anyway, I decided a few weeks back to read the book. My team got it for me, brought it in, and I was surprised by a few things. Just about everything's positive. There's a couple of little small negatives, but these are little things that I've been pet peevish with the website, for a long time that are brought up in the book. But let me tell you what it is, and let me tell you what you're going to get out of it. This book is really good, but it is geared towards the beginner investor. But it can also be geared towards if you're beginning something new, if you're beginning into multifamily. It's a pretty good resource. If you're getting into trying to do any type of syndication, or you want to invest in any form of methodology where you're not going to own the house itself, pretty good little resource right here. And there again too, if you already have experience in multifamily and you want to learn a little bit, or maybe find some resources for single family, they've got it. The cool thing about the book is they took all the years of doing their podcast and all of the experience and the talent that they had there on their show, and they said, hey, we're going to share their stories. Let's bring them in, give kind of our take around it, share some additional resources, but we're really going to pull heavily from these podcasts. So if you look at this might even be considered a collection of some of the best podcasts they've ever done at the time, wrapped up into a book. Here's how it breaks down. So there's 9 chapters in it. The first chapter is a beginner, kind of lots of answers for beginners. It's not so much why you want to invest in real estate, because we all know that's out there, but there is a lot of how to get started, how to get off go, get those first few steps taken and get out there and start running. The second chapter is all, they call it, all the boring stuff, and I agree with them. It's super boring. And I don't mean that they wrote it boring. It's just the boring stuff. I don't know that you're going to be able to see all this stuff, but they even took the time to give out stuff like this is your financial plan, how to make your financial plan. They have, your financial spending plan. They and you may think, well, did they just fill the book up with a bunch of this kind of, junk charts and things? No, not at all. But in the boring part, they're talking about income and how you're putting your money off to the side, and how you are, figuring out and tracking your variable expenses and your fixed expenses. They're talking about taking control of your money. They're talking about little different things you can do to raise additional money. It's things that are not my cup of tea right now. But for you, it might be really, really helpful. And they did go into, or they went that extra step as to showing you, hey, this is how you set up a little financial plan to figure out where you're at and what you're going to do. So tip my hat to them. Kudos for that. Then they get into the other things that are much more interesting, like prepping to get started. I made my notes here. You got prepping to get started. You got all the different niches of real estate, from, again, single family to multifamily to small multifamily to storage to doing syndications to partnering, just a little bit of everything. They even talk about turnkey real estate in here. They've got into deal finding, financing your deals, analyzing, strategizing, exit strategy, and then big picture. 9 different chapters in here, and each chapter is broken down. They've got several different contributors that they go through, and that's what I love the most about the book. I'm just gonna say it now. I had to make the notes because I had to make sure I got all the names. I didn't miss anybody, but some of my favorite people on Bigger Pockets are in this book, and let me tell you how I think that this is really, really powerful. So guys like Anson Young, a jack of all trades, and just fantastic advice throughout the years inside Bigger Pockets. Very down to earth, next door, kind of guy that I've been there, I've done that, non-judgmental. Let me tell you what I think you should do. Anson Young, great guy. Brian Burke, another one that's in here, even tells the story of how the very first deal he ever did, when it was all said and done, he made about a buck an hour for the number of hours he spent on it. But yet he stayed in real estate. Today, he's one of the best I know as far as capital raising and structure. And I go to him, and I have gone to him in the past with questions about if we wanted to start our own fund, or if we were going to syndicate a deal, how to do this, and to get some answers from him. David Green is in the book. He literally wrote the book on how to buy real estate from afar actively. So not passively, but actively. How to live in California per se and buy in Indianapolis, but do it actively. Wrote a great book. Tall Yarber. This is a guy that I've enjoyed spending a lot of time with. A great networker. In fact, he has a phenomenal event that he puts on now up in the Northwest. I think he's got a REIA that he does up in the Northwest. Good investor, but also really great networker, really good at connecting people and helping people find success. Joe Fairless is in the book. This is a guy that literally does the best ever conference today and has the best ever podcast. If you've never listened to it, you should. I don't know, don't quote me on it today, but I think he probably still has the longest running daily podcast on the internet, or I'm pretty sure or maybe it's in real estate, one or the other. I don't want to make it too big or too low, but Joe Fairless, fantastic, a daily podcast. Been doing it now for probably close to a decade. Seth Williams, a guy that I have a lot of respect for. He's got his own website out there, does his own blog, gives a lot of great information. Jay Scott, Ben Leibovich, these are 2 people that, I don't want to leave out Craig Curlop, Matt and Liz Faircloth. All of them are people that I know. I don't know them all personally, but some I do. But they all give phenomenal advice on Bigger Pockets. So what you do, and what I like most about this book, is when you come to a section, let's say we're talking about deal finding, and they're talking about different ways that especially the beginning investor can go about finding deals. Or if you're having struggle right now to find deals, how can you go about doing it? Well, they share personal stories from their podcast of investors and how they found success. And if you're reading something in the book and you say, hey man, that is really good, like I like that story, take that name and go over to Bigger Pockets and then research them. There's even more information about deal finding or about deal structure or about financing deals, whatever it ends up being. Nobody in this book is someone that I would consider, expert's a strong word, experienced. There's a lot of experienced people in this book, and they share a lot of their experience not only here, but also on Bigger Pockets. So this is almost like an excellent roadmap to take straight from here, right online, dig even deeper, get even more familiar with your topic and what you're going to be doing. I love it. So I'll say this: a couple little small negatives, and we're going to end it with the big one. So I'm not a massive fan about spending a lot of time with, don't drink coffee and you'll save yourself on average $27 a month. And, after a year, you've got another $400 to put towards real estate. I'm sure there in some scenarios that's a piece of it, but I thought there was maybe a little bit too much in the book about how to earn extra money, how to get side gigs to help with down payment. I mean, I get it, I understand. I'm just not, that's not what I want to read a real estate investing book for. I know all that. I mean, hell, if I had to, I could go back and live with my parents to be able to save money to be able to get going. I mean, there's a lot of ways to be able to reduce expenses and save more money. I could have maybe taken just a little bit less of that. And then the other thing too is these guys are real big, and I totally understand it. They're real, but they are negative on the guru and the coaching type. Sometimes those two are conflated and put together. The book itself talks a little bit about, do you have to spend money on gurus? And I understand the negative connotations, but let me tell you, I hired a coach this week. I hired a coach on the business side because even at 51 years of age, I can still get better at what I'm doing. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I've worked with my family. I've got plenty of mentors around me, like my dad, my older brother. Hell, my younger brother's a mentor to me. I've got plenty of mentors out there that some of them don't even know they mentor me, but the advice I'm asked for and the advice I give back and forth, I mean, it makes me a better business person. It makes me a better real estate investor. It makes me a better person. But to say that you can get everything you need for free. Like the book itself or Bigger Pockets is going to answer every question, and you never need to find somebody else or even get advice or possibly pay for that from someone else. I think that's a little bit too far for me because I know that my success, a lot of it is based on the fact that I was willing to hire coaches and hire mentors or hire, for lack of a better word, a guru to help me. And it oftentimes, rather than show me the answer, no. But don't be afraid to hire a coach or again, this word is the negative word, the guru, if they can flatten the road for you. A lot of times it's an uphill battle until we reach an area we can start gliding down and find some real success. But it's, to be able to stay on that uphill and succeed is hard. The idea of a coach, a mentor, a guru is to flatten the road for you, to reduce that hill, to make it easier to get, over whatever the top is and start gliding down. So maybe even make that a road that goes downhill from the beginning. That's what they're there for. Don't ever think that you can get everything you want for free. In theory, it's probably true. In practice, I don't know. Super difficult. I don't know anybody around me that would sit here and say, I've never mentored or paid for a coach or done anything. There's just nobody that's found success that high level. But if that's the only negative that I had to say about it, I mean, come on, this is a freaking incredible book. So the last piece is a piece that I truly, truly believe in. At the very end, right as they get to the end of the book, they're done. They talk about the power of giving back. Now, I say it slightly differently. I'm not big on giving back. I'm big on giving to begin with. Silly, okay? But the verbiage matters to me. Giving back is when I have something that maybe somebody gave to me, or maybe something that I didn't necessarily work for, but it was just there for me, and so I've got to share it by giving back to others. I'm much more a believer of, I wake up every day with what can I give. And I'm talking about time, treasure, talent across the boards. They talk about the same concept in their book. It's phenomenal. It's a great way to end. It talks about the fact that you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And that's, of course, Zig Ziglar. And so, or that's where I learned it from. I'm sure Zig heard it, elsewhere. I'll make sure I quote where I got it from. Anyway, the book is phenomenal. This is one of those books that I'm very proud to tell you again. Yes, these are guys that I know, but it's a book I'd never read before. I give this book a solid 10 out of 10. It is a book that I would recommend, again, to anybody that is looking to do something a little different in real estate. You could be a very experienced investor but want to go in a different direction, and I would say pick this book up. It has a chapter, it has a topic, it has something that can help you. And then anyone that wants to invest in real estate from the beginning stages, this is a book to get. Absolutely a great resource. Plus, it points you in great directions online to get even more information. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I don't know, what do we have up next? Do we have the next book, or is that just all up to me? Yeah, so no, she's just saying, hey, it's all up to me. I don't have my book over here, so it'll be a surprise for the next one. But I promise, 26 books in the year 2023. We're 100% going to get it done. And I look forward to sharing all my thoughts about the rest of the other 23 books with you, because this was number 3. All right, so we are roughly 12% there. We have a little bit of a ways to go. Guys, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Have a fantastic week until we get a chance to meet again and see each other. Y'all take care. See ya.